Is Monster Hunter now worth playing? Honestly, I am a Monster Hunter fan, played all the games since Generations on the 3DS, and I did also play a ton of Pokemon Go. However, I cannot recommend this game in its current state. Sure, it's great for the first couple of hours and days or so, but then the cracks really start to show after that. There's a lot of things that need to be added and changed before I would revisit this game. Even if you have played a ton of Pokemon Go, the game loop that Monster Hunter now has, it just does not do it for me. If you're interested in all the details on why, stick around and I'll be giving you a quick overview of Monster Hunter now, as well as the good and bad things I have to say. Let's get started. With the story, it's pretty simple. It's just an avenue to give people reason to hunt monsters in the real world. Basically, Monster Hunter World is blending with our reality. We meet a Palico and an NPC hunter who want to help us manage the growing hunter crisis, monster crisis, so we get trained in the ways of being a hunter. The gameplay. With this being a Niantic game, you could expect a lot of similar experiences you've seen with Pokemon Go. So basically the main mechanics in Monster Hunter now are hunting, gathering, combat, and crafting. Let's start with hunting and gathering. This is a GPS game, meaning you will interact with a real-time map when the game is open. Monsters small and large will spawn around you and at various points, changing daily. There are random small gathering points that your Palico friend will automatically grab for you when you're near. Alongside the random points are the set loot spots, which there are for everyone to see and can be forged every 3 hours. Next is combat. You enter combat when clicking on a small monster, large monster, start a paintball instance, or begin an urgent quest. The different weapons you can use in Monster Hunter right now, at least as this video is being recorded, are the sword and shield, the great sword, the hammer, the long sword, the bow and arrow, and light bow gun. When combat starts, you're locked onto the monster and can do these following moves. You can tap on the screen to attack, sometimes hold depending on the weapon you're using, and also swipe left, right, down, and up to evade. You have about a minute or so to defeat the monster before the instance ends. You can also just get knocked out too, which ends it early. Next is crafting. You're going to be obtaining materials from gathering spots and opening up options. It will allow you to, get new weapons and armors. You can get stronger weapons to unlock attack skills. You can craft different armors that provide skills that basically, they end up being your build. So you can work towards more defense, higher crit chance, water damage increase, and even more weapon-specific stuff like focus charge time reduction and bowgun reload speed if you want to try that out. And that's basically Monster Hunter now in a nutshell. Now, let's move on to the good and bad stuff I have to say. Let's start with the good stuff before we get to the bad things. Okay, so I think they did a great job making this feel like a Monster Hunter game. You create a character and you deck them out with skills, or you can just go for straight Fashion Souls type. The models for weapons and large monsters in particular look really great. The GPS biomes switch out frequently and keep things fresh. There's desert, swamp, and forest feels. The combat is simple, but it does keep the Monster Hunter feel. Yeah, you are essentially just tapping, holding, swiping for the most part, but each weapon does play differently, and there's enough skill involved here that gives you a good experience. For example, if you're using the greatsword, you can hold down, you can tap and hold to charge before bringing down your blade. However, if a monster is about to attack you, you can swipe forward during charging to do a tackle charge. This is exclusive to the greatsword. You can tank them damage with huge reduction and continue with a stronger level 2 charge, etc. It fits the playstyle well. And same thing for the light bowgun. It's vastly different. You choose your ammo of choice by switching out the different guns. You keep your distance and either use the semi-lock-on to tap, 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 or fully use your gyroscope to aim and attack specific monster parts like the head, the tail, the wings to break them off, etc. Also, I think the multiplayer here is nice. You can hunt with up to 3 other people at once. Real-time fighting. I've only played this locally though. going on walks and hunting with others, the fights are much more easier as the monster only focuses on one person, allowing the others to get way more hits in, and you kind of do get more materials because every character or every other hunter kind of has their own GPS layout, so you get more just fights in general. Okay, now let's move on to the bad stuff. Oh god. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let's first start by explaining the monetization system here with Monster Hunter now, because it is completely free to play. Just letting you know, it's free to play and try out. However, the microtransactions, they do range from useless all the way to this is essential, this should be in the base game more frequently, and I feel like they're just being extremely greedy, right? So let's start with what's in the shop that you can buy. You can get potions. Now, these heal you during and outside of combats. Basically, you cannot start a fight unless you have at least 30% health, and if you do get knocked out in battle, you pretty much lose that fight completely. You get free 5 potions a day, and that's it. However, you also heal outside of combat pretty fast, so that's nice. Next up in the shop, you can permanently increase your amounts of inventory, your spaces. You start out with 5,000 spots, and after about a week or so, you will be kind of getting up there if you play a lot, unless you pay for more. If you overflow, the only thing you can do is spend it as quick as possible by crafting anything, or just manually going in and deleting stuff. All of your hard-earned gathering stuff, you're just gonna have to delete it. All these take gems, by the way, to purchase in the shop. It's the usual digital currency that you see in games where you pay like $5 real money and then they give you their digital currency of like, oh, here's 600 gems, and stuff like that. Next up, you can also purchase droplets. These make it so your GPS range, the gigantic circle around your character, it becomes larger for a short amount of time, allowing you to fight monsters and loot outside your normal range for a bit. I think it was like half an hour or an hour or something. Then there's paintballs. Oh my god, these paintballs. Okay, so there are pink paintballs and there are blue paintballs. They essentially allow you to mark a monster while you're out for the day. So instead of fighting them then and there, you mark them, you come back home, and then you have a little mark list that you can just fight any monster there in the comfort of your bed or couch or whatever you want. You are given 3 blue ones a day, and your palico marks anything around you randomly. You are given a couple of pink balls throughout the story and when you level up, and other than that, you have to purchase the paintballs. The pink ones allow you to mark manually. You have a limit of 8 monsters you can have on the list, and honestly, the amount that they give you for playing the game is abysmally pathetic. Weapons and armors, they take so many materials to craft and upgrades as you play the game that 8 monster hunts for the day on that list, if you choose to play that way, is almost nothing. So, to summarize the monetization, right? You don't technically need to buy the potions, just dodge, or regen passively. You also don't need the droplets for increased range. That's like crazy quality of life. You don't need that. You don't even need the extra storage space. It is nice, but honestly, if you just spend it all, if you're getting full, then yeah, just spend it. The big, gigantic deal breaker for me is that Monster Hunter Now, it demands so much time and space, this commitment for hunts and the paintball system. So let's get into that more. What do I mean by that? Okay, so this negative point, it definitely depends on the kind of person you are, where you live, and how much traffic you will see personally on your walks to hunt. So everything I talk about from here on out might not even affect you. But if you're living in a city or something like that, then maybe this will apply to you. There's just too much of a time commitment for each monster fight for my liking. Yeah, every fight is around a minute or so, but having to constantly stop on the sidewalk or in front of people's houses or stores or next to stoplights or where cars are going, where people are walking, running, or biking, it just doesn't make, that's my alarm, it just doesn't fit. Right? It just doesn't fit. You are crazy distracted with trying to hunt perfectly each and every hunt. So you are crazy distracted. It just doesn't work. Basically, this negative point depends, as mentioned, is how you choose and how you like to play. and your expectations. If you want to make any progress, though, in Monster Hunter now, you need to constantly be on the move for hours a day and stop and fight every single time, because there's no way you can fully walk and pay attention to your surroundings when trying to fight a flying Rathalos with your manual aiming gyroscope. Imagine you're just on the street, people are looking at you like a crazy person. Now, the solution to all of this would simply be paintballing, right? I love this concept. It's such a great idea for Monster Hunter now, where you open up the app, you go outside, to exercise, which is what this thing is supposed to make you want you to do. And you can also team up with friends who also have a lot of paintball stuff. You can fight together, paintball the stuff, go home, etc. However, the whole paintball system is just implemented so poorly with shitty blue ones, and I mean really bad. At the moment, you cannot even filter out what your three daily paintballs can do. Whether, you can't filter out 1 star to 6 stars. You're randomly going to get some crap in the middle. So you can't even do that. And the paintballs, right? They barely give you enough just to see what the system is like, but you don't get much. You don't get any. You're supposed to get them through leveling up, but that's it. That's all. You barely even level up at all. The game just came out, but I want to let you know it has been in early access in different parts of the world for about a month or so. I've been following the Reddit, so I know, how that's been progressing. I know all the different sorts of complaints you can see. I think, for me personally, if they just fixed the paintball system and gave players more, either through leveling up, daily quest rewards, or better yet, using your in-game Zenny to purchase paintballs at any time, I would be more inclined to play more, have the app running in the background the whole day. But at the moment, it's just a gigantic battery drain, and it feels like a chore, stopping every single time you come across a monster. Otherwise, you're missing out materials, and you have to stop because you can't paintball them because they don't give you paintballs. So you literally have to stop at every single monster. If we just had a shit ton of paintballs and a slightly higher increased paintball list, then that would be great. Hell, I'm going to give him an idea. Give us as many paintballs as we want, but make the list so you have to pay to increase the max list. Like, yeah, you go outside, you can only paintball 8 monsters, right? But, easy paintball all over the place. But we want to pay like $5 to increase it by 5. You're going to make a lot of money that way, and people get more gameplay out of it, and make it so the gameplay is much more easier to get into rather than go, stop for a minute, look like a crazy person. You don't know your surroundings because you're trying to fight, and then you go around and you do it again and you do it again. The game loop needs to be, you go outside, and yeah, when you're at the bus stop, you fight, you look around, right? You don't want to stop in the middle of the street. You don't want to stop in the front of like 7-Eleven where people are just going in and out. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Whew. But even so, let's say they do fix the paintball issue, and my wish comes true. At the moment of this review, there's currently no point in playing the game. And I really mean that. The only thing you do is you hunt, you gather, you craft. You hunt, you gather, and you craft. There is nothing else to do. The main story, after you finish it, just loops over and over, and those quests are just to kill certain monsters and gather stuff. Chores. They're pretty much chores. The only real incentive at the moment is to fight tougher monsters. You can see them, you fight tougher monsters, and get better gear, get cool, higher level weapons, and new skills. But guess what? All of that, you can do the same thing, but better. Playing Monster Hunter on console at home, or even, hey, if you want to play it on the go, like this game is supposed to be, like you're supposed to play this on the go, you can get a Switch, or you can use a Steam Deck. There's no rankings. There's no interactions with other players besides just hunting together. Even Pokemon Go has things like taking control of gyms, so people can interact and show off stuff. But there's nothing here. As mentioned, this review is coming out a week or so from the release, and maybe in the future there's more things to do. But at the moment, you would just be banging your head against the wall trying to justify the game's existence. There's a lot of copium out there with people playing this game. And, as mentioned, I freaking love Monster Hunter, but this isn't it. At least not yet. I think like they really nail the feel of the combat, but the paintball system is just so limiting. It's so garbage, and it needs to change, or this game is just going to drop off, just like the other Niantic projects. Didn't they do like a Harry Potter one, or an NBA one, or a Witcher one? Are those the same company? I did not actually research that, but I think it is. I think Pokemon Go is still going very strong though. But however, you know, if you just focus on making the game better, people will be more inclined to spend money. If you nerf everything, like the basic general stuff we'd expect to have more access to, then players like myself, we won't even stick around long enough to consider even buying premium transactions. So, to sum up this video, is Monster Hunter now worth buying, or I guess playing? It's just, is it worth buying, playing? Who should be picking this game up? Well, I would say if you do 100%, you live that Pokemon Go life and you move around all day, then yeah, okay, you can give it a shot. Just realize that you cannot play and progress sitting at home all day. It's just not one of those games. And unless you want to shell out a lot of money daily for paintballs, your only choice is to walk a couple of minutes, hunt something in place that has your full attention. You walk around, you do it again, because remember, not everyone is, safe in their environment. Some people are, a place where you can get robbed easily. Or if you walk around and do the same thing every day, people will know your schedule, It's just too much of a time commitment for you to stand there and just do whatever. The best thing, as mentioned, you do it like a Pokemon Go. You have the monster up, you paintball them as a little mini game, and you walk away and you fight them later. Just do that. Why can't you do that? Why can't you do that? Ugh. If only the paintball system was tweaked. I would say give me a in-game currency that would fix the, you can use your Zenny. Give your Zenny. Something else to do in the game, late game. Otherwise, just play Monster Hunter Rise or World. So that's it, guys. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you guys think of Monster Hunter Now down below. I know I have a lot of negative things to say, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to get mad. And I feel like the reason they are going to get a little upset is because they spent a lot of time and money on this game already. But, even so, I have to be honest. I didn't, the base game's cool, but all of the stuff surrounding it is just bad. It's a free-to-play game, and they have to make money. But I feel like if they just did some things a little differently, I wouldn't mind spending money. I really would not mind spending money if they just put it in the right sorts of mechanics. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.